Right, it's Misha an talamh brian se irische bhartín ein gis Macanaira. Olscoil firilíse, agus brevradam kaint fui túsma is Latin hoibre. My name is Dr. Professor Brian G. McHenry, the University of Pure Knowledge, and I want to talk about well begun is half done. And I launched my campaign to make our celebration better known today. I contacted Poetry Ireland about something and I was interacting with them, and based on that interaction, that's what happens. You don't just start with a big campaign and say, oh, we go into advertising, we do that and that and that and that. That's false advertising. You take a step, you get the resources for the next step. You take a step, you get the resources for the next step. And they wanted a bit of information that they could spread around through their own social networks. So I made a pamphlet, I made a new website, a new blog, started it, and this will go on that blog when I'm finished this broadcast. And it's called ulskull.blogspot.com. Very simple. I should have put it up there, but I'm not going to change it now. So what's the start that we're talking about? Well, the university actually started in 9 years ago, I think it was, or 2010, 2009 or 2010. It was midwinter's morning, and I stood on top of Dunanore Point on the west coast of Ireland, the most westerly point in the Eurasian continent, and I watched as the sun came over the horizon. And it was an extraordinary event because it's timed exactly with the shining of the light into Newgrange, which is the oldest covered structure on Earth, according to local lore here anyway. May not be so. And then I lit a little fire, and the intention behind that fire was to banish ignorance from our educational system globally. And unfortunately, the ignorance is resisting being banished. And it doesn't realize that, I mean that in a very friendly way, that we will befriend people, and through our friendliness, we will conquer the fear that people have of mathematics, of computation, of languages. And once we do that, once we conquer the fear of languages and conquer the fear of computation, the world will be a much better place to live in. I was looking there on LinkedIn, and Bill Gates has a way of stopping the next pandemic. And they wouldn't allow any comments on the page where the article about his book was published. So I published my own comment. And he's obviously running scared of me. And there's someone just... Yeah. Hold on, I'll stop this and see what's going on. Right. Sorry for that interruption. I'll get back into this again. So we're talking about making a good start to Ulscoil firilíse. And fear Olas is pure knowledge. Olas is an Irish word for knowledge. And there's a story in Irish about an Teo feast, the salmon of knowledge, and Fionn McCool, one of the great heroes of the Irish pantheon of heroes, when he was a young boy, was and sort of an apprentice to, I've forgotten his name now. That's the thing. I often don't remember stories, but when I'm told the stories, I can get a deeper insight into them. We all have our role to play in this awakening, and don't ask me what my one is, but I'm a poet, I'm a philosopher, I'm an expert in the Irish language, I'm an expert in computation, I'm an expert in correlata, which is Gaelic physics, and so on. And I'm not blowing my own trumpet here. I've done all these things. I'm an expert in defence, and defence is a very necessary thing right now at this moment in time. I think there are people trying to stop this project online, and they keep trying to interfere with my work, but it won't work, because I will keep them at bay. And I would advise everyone to do the same. Just be cur amach, curmach, cur. I'll give you the first bit of correlata. And it refers to the emergence of the quark from the level of the unified field. And quark, the Irish word for quark is cuark. And when I saw that first, I said, that's a very lazy adaptation into Irish of the concept of what a quark is. But later on, I realized that inadvertently or advertently, they had enfolded within that word a process which I discovered and called correlata. And below the level of the quark, from where the quark emerges, is the level of what's called curon, the quantum foam. Curon cevedach. My Irish word for quantum is not condom. Those are used for other things. It's ceved, and ceved means how much, and quantum comes from quantus, which is how much. Simple translation, simple adaptation of the roots. So we have ignol is a word I got from a friend of mine, Kieran, a neighbour of mine. And I asked him, what's the Irish word for mechanics? And he said ignol, and I said quantum mechanics then is ignol cevedach. And you notice that the word order is changed, which is a very good thing, because in Irish we have the description of something. If we say couple born, we give the noun first and then we describe it, rather than giving the white horse sitting on the window, or the white thing which is sitting on the window, which is a horse. That's the way they do it in English and in other languages. Whereas in Irish, we generally speaking give the noun first and then the adjective straight off after it. But I was talking about quantum mechanics and talking about quantum foam. So we have the quark and we have curon, cur, cur irkra du ivna, cur irkra ihe, cur irkra du mikada jarv duri ivrat. And that's the essence of correlata, is the essence of the emergence and submergence of the quark from the level of the unified field. And the unified field itself is Makra Ivan, the field of unity, the field of oneness. And that's a very beautiful phrase. Now I'm going to try and think if I have... Yeah, I'll give you this. This would bring you to the field of oneness. It's called Cuin Lemuin. And I did it with a young man recently and said, wow, I could feel my mind expanding. Cuin, Cuin, Cuin Lemuin. Ilor mi avon. Hakara avo in yabredak. And that's the technique about meditation. So I'm going to leave that now, put it up, and it's just a little introduction to Sma, la na hoibre, gur mahagat agus slán.